Alright, everyone, let me get things going, because I had one hell of a hard start going on, getting this thing going. And as is, welcome to Strategic Non-Compliance, Episode 4. We got some interesting things. And, of course, we are obviously here with Mike Blue here, who is my capable co-host, who helps me get through the madness, though drives me mad with his incompetence with tech and all that stuff, which we've been dealing with. And of course, I had my own technical screw up while the music was going for those listening on Mike Blue Hair's channel there. But Mike, go ahead and say hello to everybody to make sure that your audio is working.
Hey everybody, welcome to Strategic Non-Compliance, and today we will be talking about 4 coward cops and the man, the myth, the legend, Curtis Hart, the Punisher of pedophiles.
Yeah, it's been, how should I put it? Someone's saying that the audio, no, mind. It looks like that's working. Okay, I'm just checking audio levels here because I've already had some issues going on. I hit live, I'm like, okay, Mike, I'm muting you, and I mute him, and they get the, start the thing, and I start checking, and it's like, oh, my live streamer is down, it's not working, and so I had to sit there for 4 minutes, well, almost 4 minutes, dinking with that, trying to get it up and going just before the music ended, and I got it going right before the music ended there. So that just goes to prove that I have my bad days with
tech. I just effed up. I just refreshed my Google Hangout Live.
You're still here.
No, there's a delay. So, can people still hear me?
They should be able to hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm just worried. Okay, I just need to say hey to people right quick. Derek Greffies, hey, what's up? Desert Sentinel, all right, man. Desert Sentinel says, hey, what's up to you, buddy.
Okay, yo.
Dave, hey, what's going on?
So yeah, I'm saying your screen isn't showing anything. I'm going to take a quick look at your channel real fast and make sure it's still working.
It says that I have 7 people watching, and there's I've been streaming for 7 minutes and 16 seconds, so we're gravy.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, I'm able to sort of see his chat, too. As I said, I'm running essentially the NASA headquarters off of just one screen, so it's insanely hard to deal with all this stuff that I got going on here. And, I mean, I've got stuff shrunken down as much as I can and multi-tabbing.
Video output low, stream health is red. So,
yeah, so it's always red. Just keep that in mind. That's part of the reason why we might have up to a 2-minute delay between when we say something and the chat gets
all day the last time. I'm gonna switch to my hardwired internet connection. Just
no, stop. It's on my end. It's the streamer's end that's causing the problem. You're not streaming. I'm doing all the streaming, man.
All right, that's fine.
So yeah.
Doesn't even matter what's coming from my end. I got you.
Yeah, no matter what you're going to do for that aspect, it's not going to fix what's going on my end.
Apparently, Derek Revies likes gravy and chicken, whatever that means.
It probably means that it's coming in just fine for them. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this, since we're definitely a full hour behind and all that stuff. And why don't you open us up, man? Let's talk about stuff.
Sure, man. Well, you know what's been weighing heavily in my mind is watching these high school kids be juiced by the ghouls of the corporate media, the ones that had to put up with the horror of watching their classmates get gunned down while 4 sheriff's deputies armed were cowering behind their cars. It just came out in corporate media today that I saw that there's 4 armed cops that didn't do anything to help the kids, and the same sheriff, you know, these are all sheriff's deputies because their school resource officer is a sheriff's deputy, and then 3 other deputies. They're all outside hiding behind a car while these kids are getting murdered. And also, I just uploaded a video a few days back where I claimed that that kid David Hogg, whose father is a former FBI agent, was being fed lines, and I was saying that all this is scripted, and no, they're not crisis actors. That's some conspiracy theory crap that I believe the corporate media promotes so as to discredit any real, you know, critical analysis of the fourth branch of government, which is the media. And you know, I'm gonna climb on top of the pile of crap and crow as a rooster. And now it's came out that students at that high school that wanted to talk about you know, arming people to defend the students weren't allowed to be in some of these town hall meetings, and they're like members of the junior ROTC from the high school, and their voices were silent because they weren't willing to go off of the script that corporate media was feeding them. And that's the high school kids' exact words. I wanted to, you know, I wrote my own questions, but they wouldn't let me, and they handed me scripted questions to ask at the town hall. So I called it. It was scripted. These kids are being used as political pawns, and it's freaking disturbing. It's really, really disturbing to watch shameless political hacks shove traumatized children in front of news cameras and use them, use the blood of their dead friends as a catalyst to try and ram irrational, knee-jerk anti-gun legislation down our throats. And it's just, it's pissing me off to no end to just watch this happen. See, this particular school shooting is the first time that I've seen such a huge proliferation of lies, deception, and using the children as a means to ram tyranny through. And I find it really disturbing. I also find it really disturbing that the narrative that this sheriff of this town in Florida is trying to push out, which is, you know, getting back to manipulating the Baker Act. And, you know, it's come out in the media that this sheriff is, you know, in charge of a pig pen full of cowards. But hey, can you hand me and my pig pen full of cowards the power to scour through social media and put people in prison, well, put people in medical prison, in mental institutions, force drugs down their throats, and at our whim? Will you give us that discretion? You know, it's insane that they're even asking for anything with this much cowardice. You know, like how could they ask for anything at all other than, you know, our forgiveness? I mean, this hasn't been a failure of you know, society to keep guns away from children. This is the failure of law enforcement. I mean, let's look at the facts here. There was 20 calls for service over the time leading up to this mass shooting to local law enforcement. They got 20 calls about this kid. The FBI was called and made aware of his psychotic, violent social media postings. Nothing was done about it. You know, the school resource officer and 3 other sheriff's deputies, armed deputies, and I bet you dollars to donuts that they had at least one AR-15 in the back of one of their cars. You know, that's the AR-15 has been used to replace the shotgun. I mean, before, you know, they started widespread proliferation of, you know, AR-15s with cops. They use a 12-gauge shotgun that they would keep either between their seats in a locking mechanism, the front 2 seats, or in the trunk. Now, it's
actually
really
the shotgun is still pretty standard due to the fact that you because the how should I put it, the ability to change out the loads that go into the shotgun, because less than lethal rounds are able to be used with shotgun, like the rubber pellets or rubber bullets kind of thing. But continue on.
Yeah, I shouldn't be making such blanket statements, because all the different departments and police bureaus around the country are having different configurations. But I mean, the AR-15, before the AR-15 became so prolific, it was mostly just a sidearm and the 12 gauge. This is a massive law enforcement failure. You know, period. And also the fact that when somebody does have a psychotic break and they have access to weapons, they know they're gonna have a grand old time murdering people if they go to a gun-free zone. You know, and instead of law enforcement, you know, throwing themselves at the mercy of the public and taking responsibility and saying, "Hey, we failed," you know, they're gonna blame the gun. It's ridiculous. You know, like the logical inconsistency of people when it comes to gun legislation and what they're asking for is incredible to me. I mean, they like blame the gun. Last time I checked, I've never heard of a news story where, you know, a gun opened itself up out of a box somewhere and floated down some hallways and shot some people. You know, inanimate objects don't kill people. It's ridiculous. But, you know, that's what's been on my mind lately. And you know, I can't rant anymore because it's starting to hurt my gut.
Well, the thing is also I want to point out that how should I put it? This one person on Reddit had a pretty good synapse of the thing. Give me a second. I got to try to find it again. And it's actually here we go. Found it. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this shared up on the screen real fast, so you'll have to give me a moment. And let's see, is this window ready to... Okay, no, it's not grabbing the right window.
Desert Sentinel on my channel is saying, I challenge anybody to put a gun-free zone on their front door of their home. If they want to send me a receipt, I'll pay for it.
Yeah. Okay, and let me get it fixed up on my browser. Okay, this one, I need to get it grabbing from the right location. Here we go. Done, and make that visible. There we go. So the people can... Oops, that is not where the one I was trying to grab there.
Hey, Bunny, can I send images through the chat window? Will that work?
Not really too well. Well, you can send links or something like that. There is a little chat thing.
I couldn't put a PDF through there and have my people in chat window see it. That sucks. All right.
Well, I mean, I could probably arrange for that, but I got to do a bunch more tinkering that I don't want to deal with on the fly.
That's fine. That's fine.
But let me readjust the Brave window here, so this way it's a little bit better with what we got going on here. Can I get to where... Okay, yeah. Anyway, this person, and as is, they state that they're paramedic, but we have to take this as the word of the internet. We don't know for sure. This is something I'm reading off of Reddit. This is a supposed first responders comment about the situation. Current active shooter protocols for most departments is similar and of two variations. The first officer on scene or small team of officers, 2 to 4, make a contact team and go engage the shooter. They are not to wait for SWAT. They are not to set up barricades. They are not to tend to wounded. Whether it's one officer or 4, they have no other job than to move towards the gunfire and engage the shooter. After that point, the other responding officers will set up teams and either be another contact team or an escort team for medical personnel. While I don't fault the officers for having a natural human reaction to facing a threat and fog of war, either the department isn't current with commonly accepted active shooter protocols, or officers didn't follow them, and quite possibly to the detriment of the victims. Source: I am a paramedic. I have done my share of active shooter training with PD. This is their statement. Now, as is, if this is true that they have an active shooter protocol that is similar, if not exactly as stated with this, especially when it comes to schools, then this is very damning. And not to mention also, this school supposedly already has active shooter drills, and they have practiced them in the past, and they're planning on one coming up. So it makes me wonder, what is that police department's policy on this? Because here's
subscriber. I just got to say hey and thanks, Jerry. All right, cool.
Yeah, and as is when it comes to this, also, I was stationed at Fort Hood, but not present because I was on deployment when the Hassan there dude shot up the processing building for people that were getting ready to deploy. And it was a brave female MP that responded to the shooting who stopped him from continuing his actions. She was injured in the exchange of fire, but she injured him where he could not continue to injure and kill other people during his shooting rampage.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's, you know,
Yeah. And
Wow.
as I said, that kind of, and the thing is, if there was 1 or 4, I don't care. I mean, as is that, there was a resource officer assigned to that school. Most likely, I'm pretty sure they're armed with a firearm, and they could have probably prevented it from getting worse.
Media today, Bunny, that there was 3 other officers hiding behind the cars as well, and they were sheriff's deputies.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting here scratching my head. It's like, you couldn't have maybe stopped this? What's going on here? As I said, there's a lot of stuff that don't add up with this situation. There's a lot of stinky stuff that keeps coming out in the media every single day.
Some of the reports that I've read, Bunny, state that he was at one point walking along the outside of the school, firing from outside into the windows. So the cops could have very easily, you know, maneuvered to the corners of one of the buildings and, you know, got a prepared firing position and waited for him to come towards them. Or it could have been possible if they would have, you know, started rounding the corners of the school, they could have turned a corner and his back would have been to them. And then they could have just, you know, unloaded on him. If he was doing what the report I said was walking outside of the school and shooting into the windows at one point, like they had a 50-50 chance of, you know, turning a corner and his back was to him. It just depends on what side of the building they're on and what side of the building he was on. But yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, that one cop that, you know, resigned, I mean, that's a good start. But the other 3 need to follow his example, you know, like it's ridiculous. And it's not his duty as a cop, because I'm an anarchist. I don't care about any of that stuff. He's an armed man. These are children, you know, an armed man with weapons training.
Yeah. And actually, on top of that, if I remember correctly, late last year, remember that shooting that happened at a small Texas town? That guy that went on a rampage and shot up a church?
Yes, yes. And the police ended up shooting the man that was trying, that stopped the shooting. The police showed up and shot and killed the man that stopped that shooting.
No, I don't think they shot. Did they? I thought he survived. No, he was shot by the. No, he exchanged gunfire with the shooter. He injured the shooter. He died. Yeah. And the thing is, it was his act of valor preventing him from going on, taking the rampage even further. I just posted that
on my Facebook wall recently. I'll pull it up.
It wasn't the cops that shot him. It was the shooter, because it was an exchange of gunfire, and they both were wounded. But nonetheless, it still goes to prove the point that when it comes to an active shooter situation, it takes someone armed and the guts willing to step up and put themselves at risk. And when you sign up to be a police officer, you should be expecting to put yourself at the risk and put your life behind those that are unarmed and are unable to defend themselves.
Here's another one. By the way, our guest said he's going to go out and smoke and then come back and
okay.
Check this out. Okay, so here's one for you that I just posted to my Facebook, and it's a NewYorkDailyNews.com story. Okay, and this is my sarcastic little header, but this tragedy could have been prevented if Washington, D.C. had the courage to ban knives. Okay, 22 injured in stabbing rampage at Philadelphia High School. So Google 22 injured in stabbing rampage at Philadelphia High School, New York Daily News. Okay, so this kid stabbed 16 people, you know. So if liberals and anti-gun folks, because I'm sure there's some anti-gun folks that aren't liberals, you know, out there are saying that it's the gun's fault, then it's the knives' fault too. You know, I think, but I don't see anybody standing outside or picketing and screaming about banning knives. But this kid injured, he stabbed 16 people.
Yeah. Well, and as is, it doesn't matter what country or where you're at. If someone really wants to go and harm people, they're going to find a way. And right. Depending on how determined they are and how much resources they have at their hands or fingertips, it will depend on how much damage they will do. Because I mean, it's not. I mean, we have countries in the Europe that have had mass shootings, and we've also had people in both the United States and in Europe that have taken vehicles and ran people over, well, drove them through large crowds and stuff like that.
Sure. Like, as a society, we have a violence problem. We don't have a gun problem. We have a violence problem. You know, it's really funny that, here's one for you. London, you know, according to, what is it, the Daily Mail, and that's corporate news over in the UK, London has more crime per capita, more violent crime than New York City.
Yeah. So,
and they ban guns there. It's like that's incredible. You know, welcome to Knife Crime Island. This message brought to you by the London Metropolitan Bureau of Shank-resistant body armor and tourism. You know.
Yeah.
It's like ban guns, and they start using knives at a higher rate. And London is literally like trying to actually all of the UK is trying to outlaw public carrying of knives.
Oh.
They actually have drop boxes. You know, big public awareness campaigns. Knives are evil. You know, put the knife in the locking drop box so the authorities can pick it up.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you know what's a big problem over in the UK? Acid attacks.
Sure. Yeah.
I'd rather be shot by a bullet than get hit with a fucking acid attack.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I'm sorry. I'd rather take the risk of being killed instantly over being completely disfigured for the rest of my life. Thank you very much.
Sure. One of the things that's really prolific in the UK, too, is for them to improvise weapons. A lot of these people will go into a machine shop and make this big gnarly hatchet or this big ugly machete that's about, you know, 2 to 3 inches thick and like 6 inches long, you know, so it'll crush and chop, you know, and bludgeon people with that. Like, some of the improvised weapons that people are making in the UK are just frightening, you know. Like, I would much rather, you know, be shot than hit with some of this stuff. I mean, if you want to have if you want to take a tour down the dark heart of man, just do Google image searches and search the web for improvised weapons confiscated off of people in the UK. Just do a little digging, and you can find images of some of this stuff, and it's frightening. That's because a human is a bad animal. You know, ask any psychologist, and they will tell you that one of the most common human fantasies is murder. You know, that's why people say, you know, it's a common colloquialism for people to say, I'm going to kill him when I get home, you know, or, man, I could just kill that guy. It's because it's just right there on the edge of our consciousness all the time. It's like right there in the back of our Cambrian mind. You know, the struggle for food, shelter, and sex is part of our, you know, amygdala. It's part of our it's part of our Cambrian brain, and it's always going to be there. I think Curtis is trying to come in.
Okay, hold on. Let me look. Did he pop in the Hangouts yet, or? No, I don't see him popped in yet. So. Okay. Yeah, as I said, I have your window sort of behind everything, so I have to like click through several windows and then bring stuff back up here. So yeah, hopefully he's gotten back. It sounded like you got a message there on Facebook, so you might want to check that. I checked it. Okay. See if he got in or not. Yeah, hopefully he said you're back. Okay, cool. That was the last message there.
I'm you know, way too caffeinated, and I need to shut up and let you have some more of the show, because I have no problem sitting back, because I'm also checking out some of the comments here. It's quite interesting. Also, you had to someone subscribe to you, but I don't have access to your little Steam Labs dashboard, so you have to figure that one out. So, okay, how do I drop Mike? Mike, how do I pop in? Is this like user account Mike Derek Derek Revies, yeah. Derek Revies there. He sent you a Hangout link. If you click on it, it should bring you into. I didn't send Derek a Hangout link. He's not the guest. It's Chris Hart is the guest. Okay. No. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to
have everything pieced together. So I guess Derek wants to pop in. Maybe a little bit later, Derek. I'll have message you or something like that. Actually, better yet, Derek, if you want to have a chance to pop in later, this is a good opportunity to get on my Discord. In the description of my of this live stream, there should be a Discord link. If you click on it, it should take you to the general area. Get your Discord set up, and towards the end of the show, if we have a little bit of time, we'll go ahead and pull you in or whatever. And I guess maybe we'll see about having getting that little experiment a go, because I've been sitting over Mike's shoulder with a wrench and beating him with it to force him to learn how to use Discord. So
that's practically what you're going to have to do too. Red rum. Derek's funny. All knives matter. Some of his comments are awesome. An armed society is a more polite society. Most certainly is.
Well, not necessarily. It's also a cultural thing too.
Sure.
And as is, we're getting better when it comes to actual violence, armed violence. Well, violence in general. Violent crimes are actually been on a nice little slowly decline here in the United States. And I partially attribute that to everybody just staying inside and not socializing in a way, which has its own problems. But, I mean, that's just my opinion on the matter. There's no major anecdotal evidence on all this stuff. But I can say this much. The more we sit in our own homes watching Netflix and messing around on a computer, playing video games and stuff like that, and so just socializing in a non-direct manner, gets a little bit hard to get pissed off at someone and violently attack them if you think about it. You're forced to resort to just yelling at each other through the voice comms.
Well, I guess, you know, different strokes for different folks. I mean, I guess that's a generational thing, and it really depends on your life experience, you know? I mean, you know, me personally, I spent from 1990 till 2005 homeless in places like San Francisco, LA, like East St. Louis, let's see, Kansas City, Oakland, California, just really effed up places, you know, and like I've experienced, like, you know, waking up in the middle of the night and having someone try to drag you out of a tent and beat you, you know, like it really depends on your life experience, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I think this generation, like, I just don't have a lot of respect for millennials. It's just really hard for me. It really is. I mean, it's like generation. I'm always falling down the stairs because I can't put my cell phone down. I'm like, really? Like, I mean, there's a whole generation of people whose spines are twisted because they're hunched over their cell phone.
Hey, Mike. I mean, you see what I see inside the hangouts there at the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys just see that?
It's about time. We just been filling in the gap here, just ranting and raving. So,
how's it going?
Yeah, you're doing good. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to all of our audience here that is watching on both my channels and Mike's channels here.
Okay, so my name is Curtis Hart. I'm an anarcho-capitalist. I live up in Cowlitz County, specifically Kelso. I also sometimes in my free time hunt child predators online and set them up. I'd say that I'm an anarcho-capitalist, but I have to live in the system, so I turn them over to the police. And then the system has their way with them. Sometimes they do the right thing. Sometimes you scratch your head and go, what the fuck just happened? Like, why did that guy just get to walk away? But you know, that's the system we live in. So
yeah. So Mike, why don't you go ahead and open up the questions there to him, and I'll keep an eye on for any good ones coming from the chat. So
sure, man. First of all, thank you a lot, Curtis, for coming on last minute. I know I asked you last week and you said you were into it, but like, you know, I love what you do, man. I love the concept, I mean, of Punisher Squad. And first of all, I want you to tell my viewers and Bunny's viewers where they can find your videos of you setting up pedophiles and putting the screws to them.
Oh, so you can find that on my YouTube channel at Because Liberty. If you go to youtube.com/Because Liberty, just type in Because Liberty on any social media platform, and it should be seeing my stuff. But yeah, you can find those on YouTube. Especially like if you're looking specifically for the Punisher Squad stuff, just look at the playlist. It's titled Punisher Squad, and that has anything that's related to that up there.
So, give me, you know...
You can also do public records requests if you really want.
Oh, yeah, public records requests for Punisher Squad at the county that you live in?
Yeah, or Clackamas County. I actually got charged with a crime for doing it down there in Clackamas County.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that later on in the conversation. But just so people at home, they're like, what do you mean he's setting up pedophiles? What do you mean Punisher Squad? Walk me through the scenario. Like, how do you reach out to these sick, disgusting individuals that need to have my foot, you know, permanently put up their rectums? Like, how do you reach out to these people? How do you gently, you know, or not so gently, usher them into the hands of law enforcement? How does this happen? Like,
so I found an app. It's called what's it even called? It's called Whisper, and it's not even like supposed to be a sex app at all. Like it's an all age app. It's for anonymous posting, and people can reply to it, and it generates a meme for you for whatever you type into it. And me and my buddy were playing around on it one time, and we ended up finding some old man that was looking for some young girl, and we were like, oh, we could totally dateline this guy and get him to show up and meet. And so we ended up putting an ad out pretending to be a young girl looking for an older man, and my phone just blew up. It was just disgusting how fast it blew up. And I had plenty of people like responding, and within like 15 minutes I had a guy like wanting to go meet this girl at a park. The guy was 38.
God, it's disgusting.
Yeah, he thought the girl was 12.
Oh!
And ended up knowing the guy. I ended up going to high school with that particular individual, the first person I ever caught. So it was great because when he, you know, he sent his picture to me. He's like, "Hi, my name's Adam." I was like, "Oh, you're Adam Olsen."
Oh my God! I mean, how creepy is that to know that like you went to school with some guy that wants to, you know, have sexual like contact with a 12-year-old girl? Ugh.
Oh yeah, he specifically like thought that it was my daughter. He remembered me from school and was like, "Oh, Curtis was an asshole." Which I am. I mean,
well, it seems to be most people that do any kind of like busts or stings and stuff like that tend to be assholes and dicks anyway. So
yeah, but
I'm the people's asshole.
The first guy, I actually convinced him to call the cops on himself.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Tell me how you did this. How'd you maneuver him into doing that?
Yeah. Well, there was a bunch of guys standing around that like weren't necessarily understanding that I was gonna be calling the police.
Oh, I got you.
They thought that we were gonna be doing something else.
Like you mean like an alleged lynch mob, maybe?
It very well could have like spilled over into that really quickly had I not decided to just like say, "Hey, what do you think we should do to you? Do you think maybe you should call the police and tell them what you did really quick?" Because I was just like, they were like, "What do you mean we're calling the police?" And I was like, I'm not fucking trying to lynch this dude. Like, for one thing, he knows who I am. And like, all the contacts have been on my phone. Like, no, we can't go killing this guy.
No, like, you just made me think of something, Curtis. And like, I get a lot of criticism for my vehement ire that I spit at cops quite a bit because I dump a salt mine worth of salt on them every day. And people are like, "Well, why don't you become a cop?" And this is my answer to that, okay? I want to become a cop because, you know, I'd make the world's worst cop. I mean, every pedophile that I happen to put handcuffs on, I'd also tear their shoulder out of the joint. You know, every wife beater that I would be escorting in my car, they'd fall somehow, you know? Like, I just, like, like, I just couldn't do it, man. I mean, you know, I love researching ancient cultures, especially.
Oh, for sure. Like
in Europe, pre-Christian Europe, before the Roman Empire, you know, before the Gallic campaigns and all that stuff, the punishment for rape was, well, for one thing, if a woman would make a false accusation of rape, you know, she could be stoned to death. But if a woman accused a man and they found evidence that a man committed the crime of rape in ancient Scotland and Ireland, the punishment was they would tie him to a post, and the family members of the bereaved party of the woman that was raped would throw rocks at him until he was dead. And personally, I think that's a just punishment. You know, I think you know, in my feelings about it is that, you know, these people are scum. People that are predators of children, people that rape, you know, I mean, I think they should be beheaded, you know, or maybe have clouds of angry fleas take every bit of blood out of their bodies through their genitals, something nice like that, you know. Like, you can't reform those kind of monsters. I don't believe it. I really don't believe that.
Well,
you know,
I don't believe it either. I mean, because, I mean, let's just get real. If you could change what you're attracted to, there would be, you know, no outcasts in society whatsoever, as far as that's concerned. Nobody would choose to be attracted to something that, like, everybody decides, like, that's not okay.
Yeah. NJ Driver had this interesting comment. Vigilantism can get you placed in the same cell as the one you're after. Be extremely careful. Do you guys actually sort of give yourself a certain kind of guidelines that you sort of follow to try to avoid that kind of an issue from happening?
I basically, like, I don't ever, oh, well, I can't say ever. The one time I did take a case on that was like given to me by somebody else, that's the case that I got charged with a crime for. But I don't take leads because I'm just sketched out about somebody trying to set up somebody they don't like. And you know, there's a lot of things like you can't stop somebody's liberty of movement. It can be considered an unlawful imprisonment. So, like, you can't block doors. You can't give the appearance of blocking a door. They got to be able to leave anytime they want to. It really helps to somewhat know the law so that you don't get yourself in trouble. You know, you can't tell people to, like, stay. You can't block them in. I mean,
yeah, because
to be honest, when you do this, when I started doing this, like, the evolution of what I did changed dramatically over the course of a year. Because, like, at first we went to the park, we set this kid up, we basically apprehended him, we convinced him to call the police on himself. The next couple of guys I blocked in, kind of. They tried fleeing, but it didn't even work. Then eventually it moved to where I just get all the evidence that I can. I contact the police. I tell them what's going on, and then when the guy goes to meet him, I just tell I tell the police in plenty of advance notice so that they can go respond to it. And they have me call him up when the guy goes to meet him, and then they just went and swooped him up.
So by the time that you do this ambush with the police, you've already had multiple communications, and it's been clearly established that they know they're going to meet to have sex with a little girl.
Oh yeah. So I definitely know how to get them to show their intent. There's specific, like, there's just ways, like, you can get them to bring specific snacks or drinks. Have them bring condoms, and basically, like, the more vulgar they get, the worse off it is for them.
Right. So you meet them in these anonymous apps like Kick and stuff like that.
I try not to use Kick because it is too anonymous. Like, okay. It's set up to where as soon as you erase, and I was told this by law enforcement, as soon as they erase the message in Kick, it is gone. It is gone from the Kick servers. She's in the bathroom.
Okay. So what apps do you meet these freaks in?
Specifically an app called Whisper.
Okay, Whisper. You already told me that. I thought there may have been other ones. So
there are plenty of other ones that are out there in, but I've never not caught anything from
Whisper.
from Whisper. Like every time I go fishing on Whisper, I come back with something.
Oh my God. Like, you know, like, well, hats off to you, man. I mean, for lack of a better expression, you're doing the Lord's work. You're doing the Lord. You know, and like, I'm an anarchist. I'm an ANCAP as well. And, you know, I would rather someone get beat to death than you call the cops. But here's the thing. Like, I don't have any mercy for these people. You know, if I could get away with it, you know, which I can't, and I know I can't, and I know it's a moot point, and I know it's futile, but it's a fantasy of mine. You know, I lay awake at night, you know, and I think, wouldn't it be neat to, you know, bludgeon a pedophile, you know? So, like, there's nothing, no harm upon them that I wouldn't spare them. And I think the worst thing you can do is get somebody in the law enforcement system. So, you know, like, because under any other circumstances, I think law enforcement do more harm than good, except this one. This one, no quarter given to these people. Like, and that's all I got to say.
Exactly,
you know,
no quarter.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, and exactly, like, you know how bad you got to be for an AMCAP to call cops on you? Like, this is that bad. Like, you're breaking natural law.
Right.
No, you should not fucking do.
Right. There's no consent here, you know, and they're anonymously preying on children, you know. You know, in a just society, I would be able to bludgeon them to death, but we don't live in one of those. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, we live in this statist-ass society where I have to deal with the police, and they got to deal with all these laws. Their hands are tied sometimes. Like, the second person I ever caught found out, like, I just didn't get enough evidence. But, like, the whole town knows about him, and he, like, owns a pizza parlor here.
Oh, wow. So, let's get back into evidence gathering. So, the Punisher Squad by the numbers. So you first tell me if I'm getting the method of what you do correct. So first you go on to Whisper and you pretend that you're a young girl looking for a guy, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next step is to what's up?
The charge in Washington depends on the age. So if I say that I'm 12, that's a first-degree attempted rape of a child.
Okay, so yeah, so you're 12 and under, so you're a 12-year-old girl and you're looking for a guy to show you a good time or whatever, you know, and you meet the guy, and how much time goes by? I mean, how many messages exchanges do you go through with him? Like, what's that progression like?
So, like, I'll post a post, you know, I'll make a post, and sometimes, like, when I first did it, I was super raunchy, right? And then I caught my first person, and it made national news. It made all over the place. Like, you can find my story, like, all over the world.
What's the headline that people could Google at home?
Usually, if you typed in the words Punisher Squad or Vigilante, Punisher Squad Vigilante, like, all sorts of things, like, from Switzerland, Germany. Like, I'm super popular over in Switzerland.
Wonderful.
But after that happened, Whisper changed the way that their search engines run, because you can search for specific terms in Whisper. And after you did that, you could not search for young girl or older man anymore. It just doesn't work. Nothing pops up. So they did change a little bit, but you know, the perverts don't change. So I ended up posting one time. I caught a guy posting, it's spring break and my parents are making me do the dishes. I just hate life. Ugh. With a sad face. Yeah. Totally. Boom, dude. Instantly get all these older dudes trying to hook up with this young chick.
Oh my God.
So, but like when I would post like the obvious stuff, like younger girl wanting to get drunk tonight, my parents are out of town, hit me up, something like that. Mm-hmm. Within 30 seconds, like the inbox is just like going off. And like sometimes it comes to a point where like you got to take the post down because the phone will freeze up because of so many people, because it goes all over the world.
Oh my God.
But it's location based.
A huge ecosystem of predators.
Yes, it's location based. So like you can search for like 1 mile radius, 5 mile radius, 15 mile radius, 20 mile radius, 50 mile radius.
You know, I bet a bunch of these guys are cops.
I never ran into a cop yet.
The keywords yet.
Yeah, my favorite episode of To Catch a Predator. You remember that show, yeah?
That's where I got the idea for doing what I do.
All right, cool, awesome. My favorite episode of that, it's hard to find, but the clip is on YouTube. But they actually bust a cop.
He's a cop.
Yeah, they bust a cop in To Catch a Predator, and if you search like Live Leak or Ogreish, or sometimes people re-upload it to YouTube, but it's not on YouTube all the time because YouTube just you know, they practice rabid cop suckery.
Take shit down.
But yeah, dude actually runs from the cops, which is dumb. I mean, he should know. He should have seen the show. You know, when the guy comes out there, you know you're going to jail for, you know, attempted rape of a child. But he runs and they end up tasering him, and he's like crying like a baby. I mean, it's just like sweet music to me watching that cop get tasered and he's crying. You know, he's like, I don't want to go to jail. Well, you should stop chasing like tail or staring at the grammar school kids trying to grab yourself some itty bitty titty, you sick fuck. You know, like these people are scum, man.
Yeah, I have a question. Have you ever made contact with like other small groups that do this around the world that do catching of child predators and stuff?
I've reached out to like anybody that's ever been on Vice, because Vice is constantly showing people doing this.
Yeah.
Anybody I've ever reached out to Vice, because like a lot of the, like, I can't remember which one it was, but there's a particularly popular video on Vice where this guy does it, and it doesn't seem like he's turning people into the police. Like, he doesn't actually show any of that on the video. It's just like him going up and like screaming at people and like telling them off, and then you know, you can't tell what happens after that. Like, I always film. That's my favorite part.
It's documenting it and then putting it out there because you, yeah, you got the evidence out there.
Fucking great, dude. The boner killer. Like, can you imagine that? Like, totally thinking that you're gonna get to do like some awful, nasty fantasy, and then like you go to jail. One guy that I caught, dude, he's in jail for like 4 or 5 years. He had to go to work, and he decided to call into work to go bang a fucking 13-year-old. And when he got to where he was going, like, there was me. And like, I actually chased that guy because he drove off.
You know, maybe if you shave and get a blonde wig, you could pass for a 13-year-old.
Oh man, I just took a quick look at his YouTube channel there. I'm just like, that would be a scary image actually. So I gotta look at your face there. It's just like, oh boy, that drag would be quite the scary thing. That would probably kill make the boner retreat into the body.
So, the video here, let me try to find it really quick. Which one it is?
Yeah, if you got a specific video, I can put it up where everybody can see it. If you can like put it in like the Hangouts chat there, and I'll copy paste it and get it shown and have that play where everybody can also hear it on your end.
Okay, so I have my first video, which is great, and then I have the best video that I made. So hold on, let me find this.
Yeah, but it's quite interesting because also not too far north of you, over on the other side of the border in British Columbia, I think it was, there's actually quite the active group that does similar to what you do. But I guess they got in trouble right at the end of last year because I think they took their antics a little bit too far. And I think 1 or 2 of them ended up getting arrested, I remember seeing, because their videos were constantly popping into public freakouts on Reddit there for a good month and a half. And then someone in chat actually pointed out that apparently Vice did one on the Victorian group or something like that, which I think is the one I'm referring to.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about what happened to Curtis. They actually tried to go after him over some ridiculous charge.
Oh, they did.
But yeah, you're going to play one of your videos for us, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, he's finding it, and I'm gonna put it up, and then you guys will be able to hear it, and well, actually, I'll be able to screen share it, and then you guys will be able to hear it at the same time because of how I got my setup going.
You're gonna be able to hear it too, yeah?
Yeah, we'll all be able to hear it. Remember, I have that
right, yeah.
thing set up that I'm gonna be forcing you to learn at some point.
Oh God, no, not learning. I'm an etard, man. Like, Margo don't want to learn. Hey.
Exactly what your plan was.
Give me a second here. Get this set up. Let me.
This is my first encounter, my first takedown.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Give me a moment here to get the streaming apps properly set up with this. Should be good to go here. Oh, yep, perfect. And go over here. I just need to do a slight adjustment on both of these. So this way, everybody can... No,
We need to ban pressure cookers, pipes, trucks, knives, and germs.
Yeah, okay. And let's see here. Oh, turn this on. And then I just got to screen share this with you guys real fast. So give me a second, and let me select the specific one. Okay, you guys able to see this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm go ahead and sort of expand this a little bit. I think that should do the trick. Okay, I'm gonna hit play.
Exactly what your plan was when you messaged a 13-year-old girl on the internet and told her you wanted to fuck her.
I was just gonna talk to her. That's why I told her nothing.
You were just going to talk to her?
I was.
Do you know how much this sounds like an episode of Dateline? You know how ridiculous it was when I saw it was you?
Can you take your hands out of your pockets, sir? Do you have any weapons on you or drugs on you?
Yep.
Why don't you throw it on the ground?
That's it.
You keep your hands on your head. So what was your plan with the 13-year-old girl after you repeatedly said you wanted to fuck her?
Honestly, I was not gonna do anything.
Really?
No.
What were all those words on the messages then? Suck daddy's hard cock.
Honestly, it would never happen. Honestly.
Really? Then why were you coming down here to pick her up? What time is it?
It's like 9.
It's like 9. So what do you think should happen to you now? Should you go ahead and call the cops and let them know what you did, or should we? It's up to you. I suggest you get your cell phone out, call 911, and let them know what you did right now. You're gonna admit to everything, because I've got it all on the text messages.
That is quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I meant it when I titled in the description, "The Man, the Legend." Like this guy was blowing up all over the internet for setting these scumbags up, and it's beautiful, you know. Like it really brings a tear to my eyes, you know. I mean, I'm just wow.
Yeah, I wonder what is House Chat's thing here. Why are they laughing so much then? Well, as is, people do the nervous laughter kind of thing. They try to use comedy to get over a tough situation kind of thing. That's where dark humor comes into play.
I do the nervous laugh. I hate it. It's such a pain in the ass. Everybody always thinks you think shit's funny when it ain't funny. No, I was laughing when I told that dude to get his hands up on his head. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. We heard that part. Yeah, and I knew that was coming from you because I can actually see it on the mixers and all that stuff. And that's just, yeah. The guy was laughing.
Can I share something? I'm feeling a little sensitive, and I have to get this off my chest.
Go ahead.
All right. I legitimately get off on the idea of a pedophile going through the worst pain you could have ever imagined. So I'm laughing because that's hilarious. I'm laughing because I think that's wonderful and it makes my heart jump for joy. The same way that little girls love unicorns, I love watching pedophiles go into prisons and you know, potentially have done to them what they were going to do to someone else. I think it's funny. It gives my heart a tickle, and it warms my soul. And it's like the Yule log that keeps me going at night. You know, when I'm laying in bed and I'm a little depressed, I think about a pedophile being tormented or tortured. So that's why I was laughing.
Yeah. All I gotta say is I got a chuckle just because you sat there and you told him to put his hands on his head, and he actually went and did that.
He did
so.
it. So, like, what you can't see in the video is, like, all the big people that I know. Like, the biggest motherfuckers that I know. There was about 5 of us, I think. And that's who, like, you can't see on the camera. So
he's just ringing his bell, you know.
By giants. Like, I was definitely the smallest person in the group.
Yeah, and NJ Diver asked, were you armed? Did you have
I was every other time after that, though, and there was some people that were armed there, yeah.
You were still carrying, though, right? You weren't, like, menacing anyone with a firearm, correct?
No, and at that time, I wasn't. I didn't even have a gun at that time.
Okay.
But I shortly got one right after that. So some person around town, it was about the 3rd or 4th time I did it. I had gotten a random Facebook message early in the morning by a girl that worked at a gas station here in town, on the other side of town, that, like, I never go to, but everybody knows where it's at. And she told me that some guy in the middle of the night, some tweaker, like, rolled up in there with a 3-foot machete, like, on his side, screaming about wanting to take me out because he didn't like what I was doing. He, like, said my name specifically. And this cashier, like, I don't know her. She just heard him saying my name a bunch of times, and she knew me from being on Facebook and YouTube and shit. And so, like, she contacted me to let me know that was happening. And so as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, well, now I need a gun.
Yeah, and someone followed up because they're asking, do you open carry at all?
Yeah, I usually do. I have a concealed carry permit, but I usually open carry. In fact, when I met down in Portland at the Day of Rage, that was just one angry black guy having a mental health crisis.
Oh, come on, there was people there. Come on.
There was a bunch of people there, but there wasn't it was supposed to be the BLM Day of Rage, and it was nothing like that. It was just one angry black dude who was having a mental breakdown, and I was totally open carrying in their Pioneer Courthouse Square. Dude didn't know I wasn't supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, it's considered private property, yada, 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 crap. Oregon has this, or like, not Oregon, but Portland has this stupid, you can't have a firearm loaded unless you have a concealed carry permit or concealed carry license in Oregon. You can't be in the city, in the city limits, you know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have it's like... Yeah, it's obnoxious. It's obnoxious. So, like, okay, excuse me, Mr. Knife Wielding Maniac. Will you wait a moment while I put this magazine in my pistol before you continue trying to stab me? Like it completely makes, like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna hop in here real fast. And hey, Mike. Hopefully, if the money is good for next month. Guess I'm gonna try to get my CCL next. Put in for my CCL next month. So let's just say things might get some. We might have some interesting videos coming up. That I'm gonna rope you into.
No, you don't have to rope me into it. I like me some concealed or some open carry videos. They're great. I've gone to get library cards with guys that wanted to open carry. I've ridden mass transit with guys that were open carrying and filmed it. What else have I done? I've gone to Voodoo Donuts with a dude while he wanted to get a Voodoo Donut while open carrying. I went into a bar with a guy while open carrying and filmed it. So I've done a few of those videos, and I enjoy them. So it's just a matter of scheduling, man. I'm all over it.
Oh yeah. You know? But anyway, go ahead and continue on, Curtis, with your further tells there. I didn't want to interrupt you too much.
Oh, so let's just go to where I got charged with a crime down in fucking Oregon.
Okay.
I went down there. Some lady had contacted me. She was saying that this guy that she had used to date had started talking about wanting to do stuff with her and her daughter. And she showed me all these screenshots of what this guy had wrote. And sure as shit, the guy showed up to a hotel room that we went down there and rented and set him up in. And I was live streaming it on Facebook. It's on my YouTube channel. I just set my phone in my room and started live streaming this whole shit on Facebook. All of a sudden, like a year later, thereabouts, I ended up getting charged with a crime for basically recording the incident and not telling everybody that it was being recorded.
Yeah, the actual law in Oregon is intercepting of communications.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, just to make sure the audience understands, so you reached out on Whisper to a woman that was wanting to pimp out her daughter to guys that wanted to have sex with her, right? Is that how it went?
Curtis, you there?
Yes.
Okay. Super Creep Show. So,
I wasn't hearing you though.
Oh, can you hear me now? Curtis? I think
barely. Yes.
Okay, so you were basically reaching out to a woman who wanted to pimp out her daughter for sex with her, right?
The guy wanted her to.
Okay, the guy wanted his. Okay, I got you. And you set up a live stream in the hotel room, and a year later, after you busted this pedophile, the police charged you with the intercepting of communications.
Yes, and so I ended up holding out on their deals until they gave me a deal of basically no jail time and no community service.
Right. So what was the final plea bargain for this?
I had to pay my lawyer fees, and that's it.
Good. Now let me tell the audience about how ridiculous that is. Intercepting of communications is an old law that goes back to the 1950s. It has to do with wiretapping. Like, I mean, so far back in history to where you would actually have to physically attach a wire to someone else's phone line to listen to it. And the really effed up thing about this is that there's an exemption in the law that says that if it's law enforcement, they don't have expectations of privacy. And you know, so it was really, I was really intrigued by your case, and I was hoping that it would, change the case law if you went to a jury trial or whatnot.
I'm considering that so much, but then like they gave me this deal where I didn't have to do anything.
Oh yeah,
So I was like, you know what? That's
yeah, I mean, you got
people are fucking stupid, dude, and I could have gone to jail. I didn't want to go to jail because people are fucking dumb.
Oh, I totally understand, and like you have like dependents that depend on you to bring home the bacon, and you have a family and a life, and you have to make your decisions for you.
Yeah.
But like I have nothing but respect for you, but like and what you're doing and what you do, but like I was kind of hoping that you would take that to a jury trial and win it, but there's no judgment about your decision at all, because
the judge was like, I've never even heard of this crime.
It's that old.
Yeah.
It's literally, you've looked it up.
So little used, dude. Like, so what happened was they didn't arrest the dude. They ended up letting him go, and then they sent the case off to like the sex crimes unit. The sex crimes unit was like, why didn't you arrest him? By the time they said that, dude had fled.
So he's in some other country?
I don't know exactly where he's at, but he fled. He bounced, and then so it was a long time later, dude. I ended up contacting them to see what was up with the case, and they're like, yeah, dude bounced. And so I was like, that's fucking dumb. So I ended up releasing the video again on my YouTube channel, and then 2 weeks later they gave me a summons.
Oh, so you embarrassed the cops.
Embarrassed the shit out of them.
You embarrassed the cops and the prosecutors, the DA, all that fun stuff.
Yep. Decided to fucking stick it to me. So, like, in the end, I mean, I'm an activist. and I've never gotten a charge for any of my activism. So, thanks, I guess. Like, got a fucking stripe.
Well, you got to, that's like kind of a badge of honor in the activist community. I mean, if you haven't been arrested at least once, I mean, your testicles haven't dropped,
Yeah. So, I mean, technically I didn't get arrested. I got a summons. Like, never got, like, I don't know. It was stupid. I didn't get a,
Well, one of your testicles have dropped.
You don't have the right to a speedy trial if you're not under arrest. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Like, if they send you a summons, like, that's not a thing. I was fucking pissed about that.
There's all sorts of fun loopholes that they like to use to torment the people that, something that I've noticed that a lot of liberty activists or auditors or cop watchers or any of those people that's activism has to do with being critical of the system, being critical of the state's perceived legitimate use or exclusive legitimate use of force. Then the system looks for loopholes to screw those people. And I've seen other activists get away with all kinds of crazy stuff, but the ones that are actually making the system or their activism somehow lets people look behind that veil and see the little midget back there pulling the levers, the great and powerful Oz. But when people actually get a look at that little 35-pound shriveled midget back there pulling the levers, that really freaks the system out. When we all start to realize that the great and powerful Oz is a shriveled up little tiny man, then you got problems coming your way. I know activists that have CPS trying to steal their kids right now. I know activists that have had cops. They show up at their houses with their cars and they spotlight their houses twice or three times a night for months at a time. People get audited by the IRS because of activism. I mean, ad nauseum. But like any horrible thing that you can think of bureaucratically, it's done to activists, especially ones that illustrate that the system is illegitimate. And that's just the reality of it. The more effective you are as an activist, the more the system comes at you.
Yeah. You're like, God forbid you might need to actually have the cops for a legitimate purpose. Like you get assaulted and they show up and they're like, oh, it's Curtis Hart.
Oh yeah.
Because there's been some cases where the police, specifically the sheriff department, didn't charge somebody that they had plenty of evidence to go out and arrest the guy, and they just waited for a long time to charge him. The guy's still waiting trial. He's come from a super rich family in this neighborhood or in this county, and so they actually ended up getting a 99-year restraining order against me. And the cop, I'll get the audio as soon as I get some money here to go purchase the tapes from the court. The judge even admitted that I didn't commit any harassing behavior, but he was going to give them the order for 99 years because I don't like the system.
Right.
What?
Yeah, and I don't have the money to appeal it in time. So, there's just not actually it was 2 days ago. So I'm just screwed.
You got a 99-year restraining order 2 days ago, and the judge said it's because you don't like the system. That's wwhy he's granting it.
No. 2 days ago was the time limit to appeal that.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, the Multnomah County, where I'm at in Oregon, our district attorney's office has a long history of not prosecuting people that attack cop watchers. And what I mean by attack cop watchers is there's this fellow out here named Eli Ritchie, and he runs a YouTube channel called Son of Hightower. And Eli was actually stabbed while out cop watching. There's not video of the actual stabbing, but there is video of the aftermath when the cops are questioning Eli. And, Eli files a police report, and he's got this big gash in his arm. It's 15 or 16 stitches, and it was a deep puncture. And there's video evidence of the wound and all the fun stuff and all the fun police reports. But since Eli was a cop watcher, Now we've seen the court records in Oregon. You know, when someone's accused of a felony, that they have a grand jury hearing, and then the grand jury determines whether or not they can go forward. And the assistant district attorney actually advised the grand jurors that Eli stabbed himself. They said that the man held the knife out and Eli ran into the knife. So the court records are saying that they're not going to pursue charges against this guy that stabbed him because he stabbed himself. You know, like, it's so frustrating. Eli's been arrested, you know, a dozen times in the last year, and it's all made up charges. He had a pedophile, actually. If you Google the Portland, Oregon Balloon Man, he's a guy that molested a little girl, a teenage girl. She was like 14 years old in a
you guys are breaking up hella bad.
Okay, I'll start over. Did you get the part about Eli being stabbed and the DA saying that he stabbed himself?
Did we might have lost. No, he's still connected. His connection must be bugging in and out. It looked like he was doing this all from a cell phone. So
did you hear what I was saying?
Yeah, I heard you loud and clear. It's him. It's his connection. It's his connection.
Let's ask Curtis to do audio only for a while when he comes back.
Yeah, if he gets back. Well, the thing is, on my end, I already have it set to audio only just because it works a lot better on my end that way.
Let's try to get Curtis to do audio only when we can hear him.
Yeah.
Well, let's just continue on until we.
Anyway, actually, what's quite interesting in your chat, Derek Revies has been has a quite the interesting comment. What the fuck, WTF? Mention this. How can you be a cop watcher / auditor and support the same thing Pigs does? Really? Do you have a comment for that, Mike?
I don't know exactly what part of the conversation Derek was reacting to. Derek runs a sister organization of FTP, or Film the Police Minneapolis. His name's Derek Revies. If he's talking about the fact that we that I support him putting rapos in prison, or people that has messaged him and said that they want to fuck children, I don't care, Derek. Like, it's better than me beating their brains out with a bat. You know, like honestly, like. Do I think that, you know, the only other option that I would think of would be to kill them. So that would be the only situation where I would call a cop on someone. You know, would be someone who's told if I was pretending to be a 12-year-old girl and this person arranged to meet me with a 6-pack and a box of condoms, and they showed up with a 6-pack and box of condoms. Sure, I would see if I couldn't get them into jail. And the reason why is to protect them from me.
Well, since we're still waiting here, why don't we touch on maybe a fun little thought thing here. What do you think, since we are in a society where we're not trying to kill these guys, because obviously just gassing anybody that we don't like, or throwing them in death chambers or whatever, or suicide booths, because of their whatever preferential fetish. Yeah, well, not child rapists, but those that might try to. What do you think is a good way to possibly placate it in a civilized society? What do you mean placate it? As in, try to keep these people from actually acting on their thing.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe public grotesque, pulp, very publicized torturing of them to death on a public square, and making sure that everybody knows that would happen to them if they did rape children. I think that might help.
That sounds quite interesting. That's for sure. Go back to the old days of the stockades.
Or have them have physicians that know physiology really well. Like, you know, hypothetically, in my perfect world, you know, a child rapist would be flayed alive on TV, you know, and then they would have, you know, they would be given adrenaline so that they couldn't pass out or die from trauma, and hooked up to IV fluids, and maybe have electricity ran through their body, or salt poured all over their body, or maybe sriracha and soy sauce.
Man, you're coming up with some dark shit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm a goth freak. You know, I wear all my black on the inside where it matters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as is, I figure I'd throw out that little hypothetical in your direction, because because you got a strong, strong opinion on this matter. That is for sure.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, and of course the chat's got some quite interesting ones, and I'm gonna address also a comment from Gamer Girl, who apparently took offense to our laughter at the busted pedophile there, who was soliciting, trying to solicit sex from a young girl, and the thing is we're laughing because of the embarrassment he's going through. Yes, the entire situation isn't really funny, but when you're involved with, the dark sides of society and all that stuff, especially when you got someone like me who has seen some of the worst out there, you learn to try to laugh, to shrug it off to some extent, but there is some comedic value in how that guy responded to the entire situation. And as is, it's not really, it's not funny in the grand scheme of things, but you can you can turn almost anything into a joke if you find it out in the proper context and all that stuff. And there's several people that talked about this in the past, several comedians, well-known comedians, that have brushed on this subject in the past. Go ahead, Mike.
Desert Sentinel's got a good idea. He's like, castration with pliers is good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just wondering if if this is all going to violate Twitch rules of thing, and get my budding channel on Twitch banned. So
hypothetically, I wouldn't do this stuff, but in my perfect world, in my fantasy life, in an alternate reality, hypothetically speaking, I'd like to see it happen. If some psycho killer killed a child rapist, I wouldn't cry about it. I'm not a violent person. I will never hurt anybody physically unless I'm in fear for my life or in fear for my physical safety. Like that's my moral compass. But when I read stories about pedophiles, or sometimes women will castrate a man that's been raping them, I laugh. And I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. I'm laughing because, I think they deserve it. Like, I'm like, justice has been served.
Yeah, and Lady Zaga's got a good question. Bunny, how did you see the worst of the worst? What occupation? It wasn't an occupation. It was actually going into the darkest and dankest and most messed up parts of the internet. I have seen things that you probably wouldn't want to ever see, ever.
Oh yeah, you can go on dark web. You can get yourself an onion router, or and look at FBI snuff films. There's thousands of hours of snuff films on the internet.
And the thing,
if you go to ogreish.com, and there's private contractors. Like, a lot of people hear the word Blackwater all the time, or XE International, like they're the worst. No, they're the biggest. Like, there are literally hundreds of small private mercenary contracting companies that want to do what Blackwater does, and they hire anybody with a gun and some training. And a lot of these guys, that how we do prank videos on the regular YouTube and the regular internet. These people you know, they're driving down the road in Iraq and Afghanistan in a vehicle convoy, and they're playing Johnny Cash, you know, like Ghost Riders in the Sky, and you can hear it playing in the background, and they're just shooting civilians, you know, and they're putting this on the online, you know, like all that stuff is on the internet. So, you know, I've seen, you know, horrible, dark little corners of the interweb as well. I used to do a lot of, I've had multiple YouTube channels, and some of my YouTube channels before I started getting actually popular, you know, what I didn't ever expect to have an audience as large as I do. You know, I was just thinking I was one guy trying to make a little bit of social change with my multiple YouTube channels. So I did a lot of anti-war stuff. So I would go to some of the more creepy parts of the internet to find, they're basically snuff films. A lot of these private contractors that work over there are shooting civilians, and they're filming it, and they think it's funny, you know.
Yeah, and I think I've seen a few of the ones that you're talking about where they're just driving and they stop all of a sudden, they shoot up the car that's right behind them and stuff. Yeah, yep, I've seen a few of those.
Ghost Riders in the Sky, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is you don't have to be in the military to see this shit. This is stuff that I discovered on my own, just diving into it. And the thing is also I found child porn sites on the dark web, which I've reported to the FBI and stuff like that, because there is a report. Well, yeah, there is a reporting thing for the FBI, and I think there's another independent site, if I remember correctly. It's been about 8 years since I've done that major kind of dive, but these things exist.
They
will always exist, huh?
Because I can't afford to take I only have one laptop. Yeah. And I have one phone, an iPad, and a laptop, and I can't afford to go on the dark web because I'm not too technically savvy, and it's a real dangerous place for any kind of system, you know. Like if you don't have like a computer that's designed just to keep malignant software out and just to keep hackers out, the dark web is not for you, and it's not for me just for that reason. You know, my technical skills aren't high enough for me to believe that my computer is not just going to be, you know, to get the gift that keeps on giving and keeps replicating itself, you know, like.
Yeah, and the thing is to safely be around on the dark web requires a certain technical know-how. You can get in there with minimal technical knowledge, but if you want to safely look at that kind of stuff and not have it come back and bite you in the butt, you need to set up VPNs. You need to set up
firewalls, all kinds of fun shit.
And generally also you want to have a specialty operating system to run off of, either through a thumb drive on a computer, or just a completely separate computer that is meant to deal with that specific issue.
Like what a lot of people don't know that are in my audience is Bunny Boots is former U.S. Army, right?
Yeah.
And you were a tech specialist. You were like a jack of all trades with hardware and software, correct?
Yeah.
Meaning you were adequate at everything, but not super awesome at anything.
Exactly. Okay,
right on. Cool. So just so people knows that Bunny's not talking out of his rectum. He knows what he's talking about when he's dealing with tech stuff. Anywho, so I'm kind of sad that Curtis went, but I think we got everything. I wanted him to get, you know, plugs in for himself. So if if Curtis is listening, or he responds to our my Facebook query as to are you still there and can you come back on. If Derek is still listening, we could bring Derek Revies in for a minute or two.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask real fast if that's him as Dano in the thing. See if he's still wanting to be pulled in.
So let me check my YouTube live dashboard and make sure that people aren't making comments that I'm neglecting. Nope. So GME. Nope. I've responded. Everything is written.
And I'm waiting for a response back on that part. Yeah, but it's definitely quite an interesting thing, and we got a late start off because I'm forcing. As I said, I'm in my live stream from last night. I'm going to start forcing some technical base knowledge that's going to be needed by people that participate. And part of that is me forcing Mike Bluehair to learn this stuff, because I want to see him. At some point, this will end. But I'm hoping he'll be able to come out on top and continue doing his show and all that stuff. Or a variation of this. And have the technical knowledge to be able to handle it all. And so I'm going to be forcing him to learn how to do this.
I'm open to it. You don't have to beat me over the head with a wrench. It's just that it's overwhelming, you know. Oh yeah, but no, strategic non-compliance is going to go for a while. So
yeah, that's the plan for the most part on that aspect. And as is with the whole getting people to use Discord, mainly the reason why I'm doing that is because I can adjust people's volumes within the application. I can't do that in Google Hangouts, and I don't want to sit there in Google Hangouts and mess with the volume bar for the master volume between when people are talking, and it's not feasible to do that when we get maybe 3 or 4 people in here talking about a certain subject or arguing about a certain subject. And so we're going to be making sure we deal with that's part of the reason why we're going to be sort of switching over to Discord for these kinds of things.
Sure.
And I'm not getting a response.
Has Derek responded? Is he going to want to come on or what?
Oh, I messaged him in the Discord, and I haven't got a response back. And according to Discord, he is well, no, he says it's online, but for some reason when I was typing in his name, it said he was AFK or whatever, or away. But I haven't got a response. If we don't get a response,
that's fine.
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, we'll go ahead and call it a night. I mean, we did about, let's see here. What does the Streamlab, OBS say? We did about 90 minutes of streaming, so we pretty much done over 2 hours.
I got it.
Yeah, I might go out and do some cop watching tonight, but it seems really cold. I don't think anybody's going to be hitting the bars really tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to stay home and edit video. I have a lot of stuff to throw up on the web.
That, and I got a game I want to finish up playing, well, continue playing too, so, and all that reminds me, I still got some artwork.
Plug stuff, if I could.
Yeah, go ahead and plug some shit. Why not?
All right, so if you're watching this on Steam, hook me up with an upvote and a resteam for police accountability, because I am your friendly neighborhood cop watcher. I'm like the Spider-Man of police accountability. I'm at, like, jumping, swinging from building to building on my magic webs. I'm hanging upside down, I'm just a cop watching ninja, and I need your support, because ninjas need support. And yeah, that's about it. If you're watching this on YouTube, watching the stream, if you're one of those 4 people that have hung on, thank you. Like, you 4 need to go out and train 4 more, and then 8 more, and then 16 more, and we need to do it like Dune, long live the fighters. Like I've trained a couple of you, like in the ancient art of smashing that like button and that share button, and like proliferate my lovely media through the internet, through your Facebooky, Insty, Tweetygrams, or whatever it is. And I very much appreciate you guys watching. And that's all I got to say. I love you guys. I know I've been switching over to this talk show type format. Not to worry, I will be still doing a whole lot of activism like I normally do. And thanks a lot for watching. And thank you, Bunny. And I have to thank Mr. Hart for coming on and telling us all about his lovely escapades through the internet and setting up these scumbags that I really don't care if they live or they die. That's just my opinion. But anywho, I am done. Thank you guys for watching.
Hey, Mike, wrench me in the chat, or at least approve me, because I guess Derek, it didn't get into the Discord, and I tried to post it, but I can't post it because I'm not a wrencher.
Okay.
In your chat
so
there.
I go to Discord, and then I do to what?
No, not Discord. Go to your chat box on your dashboard. Go to the chat box.
In Discord.
No, not in Discord. On YouTube.
My Google Live thing. Okay. So the happy little gear.
Okay. When you see where my name's at on the chat box?
No.
Or where I typed in?
No.
Okay, live chat. Go to your live chat for YouTube. YouTube live chat. YouTube.
I know. Look, I'm my YouTube live dashboard, right?
Yeah. Okay. Scroll down to where your chat box is at, where people chat. You can see it.
Yeah. Okay. I see Bunny Boots. You want to click on your happy little.
Okay. When you move your mouse over my name, or at least my comment, you'll see 3 little dots on the right-hand side.
Yeah. You want to click on them?
Click on that.
Fancy.
And then there should be like make moderator or give wrench or whatever. Do that.
Add moderator. Okay, you're a fancy moderator now.
You gave it to Derek.
Oops. Sorry. Oops. Sorry, Derek. Didn't mean to make you a moderator. Derek Rebbies is no longer... Okay, so Bunny Boots. That's because Derek came on here and made a whole bunch of comments, and the thing moved as I was trying to click on it. We're ending the show now, Derek. I'm sorry. But...
Okay. There we go. Derek, you got a few minutes to get in there and get that working.
Yeah, click on that link there, Derek.
I'll give you about 5 minutes, okay? Click that link, get into the Discord, and I'll drag you in. Because you said you wanted to get involved.
I'm just kidding.
Huh? Sorry, we're talking over each other, and of course we'll swap it over to the other thing here if he gets. Yeah, well, swap over to Discord if he gets in there. And also part of the reason why we talk over each other is there is lag between when I start saying something and when Mike starts saying something. So there's more of an issue of each other. We talk over each other within Hangouts, whereas Discord, it's a lot better on that aspect. So that's part of the other reason there. And let me check my chat because I've been sitting here guiding Mike on trying to get this thing here going. You must have wrench to post links. Yeah, that's true. The only way you can get around that right now, if you want to post links where it shows up in the chat box itself, is you go over to my Twitch, which I have links enabled, so you can go post links all you want over there, and it would show up. So if you wanted to spam spam within reason, something that you want to show off or whatever, you could do it there.
No dick pics, please.
That will also get you. And the thing is I'm forced to enforce the Twitch guidelines in terms of service. So if you're throwing dick pics over on the Twitch side of things, yeah, enjoy your ban. So part of my rules over there is, yeah, you're free to post whatever, but you still got to respect the rules and guidelines of Twitch. And that's not because I'm wanting to enforce them. It's because they want those enforced. So
okay, Derek is saying he's on Discord now, so that's good.
Okay, well, get into the chat room that I linked you, or the server. I'm not seeing a Derek or anything like that on there. And as I said, I am forcing a level of technical standard that's many activists are not probably are not going to be happy with. They want to participate in this stuff. So that is how it is. But how should I put it? The auditors and cop watchers need to start learning the tech, and I'm going to be forcing it on them if they're wanting to participate in certain talks and all that with me. Huh?
I can't believe how forceful you are.
Oh yeah, where's my whip? No, wait, man, where's my horse crop? That's even better.
Are you dominant or submissive?
Oh, why don't you bend over? I'll show you right away.
I have a very large tub of Crisco. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I got a question. Did that sound like dang it, what's his face? That the Asian Star Trek dude. I am here to have.
Oh, George Takei.
Yeah, Takei. Did that sound like Takei? It sort of sounds like it when I'm hearing it, but I'm on it.
I wasn't doing that impression, but I think I can. I think I might sound a little like George Takei.
I'm gonna have to work on that. Okay, Derek, you say you're on Discord, but I'm not seeing you in the server. And the link I gave you, yeah. So
try to click the link, Derek. The link that Bunny sent you.
Yeah.
I can't believe you 4 people are watching this. I mean, like, this show sucks. What are you doing?
Well, I don't know. As is, I'm trying to up our standards on the technical side.
I'm just kidding, Bunny. Like, oh. I think what we're doing is interesting. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like we've had really great guests. I mean, Nick was a great guest. Curtis was a great guest until his internet took a doo-doo.
In fact, actually, when you get that cropped out, let me know. Highlighted that discussion because I want to post that in a few places to get you some traction. Because as is, I'm doing okay for my live streaming side of things. I got 25 watching on my side just on YouTube alone.
Well, I got 5 now. Woohoo! Well, yeah. You know, but my excerpts that I've been cutting out of strategic non-compliance and putting that on the web has been getting really decent view counts as well.
Yeah, in which case, your audience might be more in tune with not the live stream thing, but because of the video thing, and that just depends on the audience. Mine, I've been
to my higher production quality than you'll find on most cop watching videos or channels, because I do edit my work. So my viewers are used to the more polished stuff, which is fine. And I'm gonna stick to the strategy of letting it loose and using as many expletives as we want during the live streams, and just editing through and taking out excerpts that I like, you know, and sharing those on the web, because it, you know, my strategy is to take out the stuff that's really good and repost that on my channel. And I do appreciate the people. Woo! There's 8 people watching now. Thank you, 8 people watching. We're about to end the show, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and at least get my plugins here and see if give Derek there a little bit more time to pop in here. But if you can't figure out, try to figure it out by Wednesday. We'll maybe try to drag you in towards the end of Wednesday's show or something like that, okay? But as is, opening music was a meeting. Well, I mean, is two-step synthwave. Okay, no, a meeting of genres. That's what it was called. Meeting of genres by Techno Acts. As is, he's got royalty-free music that you can use freely on your videos as long as you give him proper attribution. I'd like to thank Curtis for being on our channel. And what was his YouTube channel name? Give me a second. It is Because Liberty is the name of his YouTube channel. It looks like there's like 2 of them. So go ahead and check him out. In the description of my live stream, when this becomes an archive, it will be there for you. And on top of that, give you a heads up, I have been noticing YouTube's been fucking around with the archiving of my streams when it comes to them ending, where it can take up to 2 days for it to actually pop up as a video, which we just saw this week. I think I might have found a fix that I can do. But if you are missing this stuff, or you missed out on something like that, pop over to Twitch or Mixer. Descriptions are in the link, pretty much in all of my videos for those channels. You can go and check it out on that area where it archives a lot quicker, and you'll be able to check it out. Anything else you want to add there, man?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I'm telling people in my chat bye-bye. Yeah, can we show the Let's Get It On featuring the Morrow Bay All-Stars?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that is gonna be our little fun ending for the night, actually.
Right
so
on. I want to preface the video. There's this amazing cop watcher and auditor named Amanda Berg. I love her work. She's got a new YouTube channel. Doesn't have a lot of subscribers. It's called Pink Camera Magic, if memory serves. Yeah. So I want you guys to rush out and subscribe to Pink Camera Magic. She is a really ballsy cop watcher and First Amendment auditor. And as you all know, if you've been watching the episodes of Strategic Noncompliance and you've been checking out my YouTube channel the last few weeks, the police chief of Morro Bay threw Nasty Nathaniel, which is an activist, on the ground, pinned him to the ground, and arrested him with no just cause on a fictitious misunderstanding of the California Penal Code. And it was total BS. And the auditors that showed up the next day, showed up and they tried to, support Nathaniel, and they were stalked by a copsucker. And Amanda did this lovely video that's kind of a satirical stab at what's going on over there in Morro Bay. So that's what Bunny Boots is about to play. So you're about to watch Let's Get It On, featuring the Morro Bay All-Stars. So if you want to, cue it up, Bunny, and let's let her roll.
All right, and this will be the end. The ending thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute us on this part. So this will be the last you hear of us for tonight. Please do enjoy. And and for the person that wants to hear me talk more about Nair, I'll see about getting everybody together for a discussion or something like that, so we can give an update. Things have been slow going with all the stuff going on, and as is, there's been issues that have popped up that has affected some of the core members that has been slowing us down on trying to get Nair going. So, but as is, do enjoy.